That's it? 540 credits for that? Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. And on today's show, we're going to be taking on rewards in the Star Citizen universe and dabbling a little bit with the agent smithing thing again. But primarily what I wanted to talk about with this video is just the rewards within the system, the rewards for trading, the rewards for, doing bounty missions. And the fact is that in the current game, these rewards are way too low. I mean, horrifically way too low. Now, I know that the economy is something that is going through balancing. There's going to be many iterations of it through into the future. But I want to kind of put down an idea on the table and let people obviously discuss it, that I think that the economy and the rewards that the economy generates seem to be specifically geared towards a single player game. They seem to be built around something like the privateer experience. And that's not where I thought Star Citizen wanted to go. This is not where I thought Star Citizen wanted to head. I mean, we have all these multi-crew ships. We have all these functionalities coming on through the beacon system, obviously quantum linking in the future, being able to travel through quantum together as a group, all these things. These things seem to say, hey, you know what, we want people to play together. We want people to group up and enjoy the game together. We want people to have a shared experience of cooperative gameplay. Yet, the current reward system almost seems to reflect a single player gameplay, mentality in terms of rewards. You go out, you shoot down the one guy, whoopee-doo, you get 310 credits. Shoot down enough of them, you may earn enough to purchase an actual gun, something like that. Upgrading your ship could take forever. It's a safe system, it's a very basic system, but I don't think it's a system that's really based around the idea of an MMO, especially an MMO that seems to be geared towards the multiplayer experience. Now, there's obviously going to be a lot of solo players who are going to hear what I'm saying and think, like, oh God, no. I want it to be based around me playing by myself. I don't want to have to worry about other people. But bear with me for a second. Let's say a bounty comes up on the bounty board right now, flashes up on the screen, 100,000 UEC for that bounty. To capture this individual who's at a little base on Yela alive. Capture them alive, bring them back to Olisar to stand trial or whatever, yada yada yada, and you will get 100,000 UEC. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people in system who are going to see that and go, holy crap, 100,000 UEC, I want to get on top of that. But if you're getting 100,000 UEC for that bounty, you could theoretically afford to hire a couple other pilots to go with you. I mean, let's say you're flying a Cutlass. You can afford to bring a couple of escort ships along with you. You can parcel out the money however you decide to. You can even afford to bring a couple of bodyguards onto the ground portion of that mission where you go to capture that character once you get down there. Having that kind of reward out there allows you to use the beacon system, the service beacon system, and pick up extra players and actually make a solid attempt at completing that mission and earning that reward. And at the end of the day, you're still going to end up with a decent amount of alpha UEC versus going out and grinding these solo bounty missions for piddly rewards. All of a sudden, that's an opportunity, and it encourages players to work together to achieve their objectives. Now, we already have a contract rating system that has basically made it into the game so that we can rate other players as they complete the service beacons that we put out. So it's easily something that you can look at a player and then see their history and see, okay, well, this guy, not so great, but this guy is amazing, so I'm going to hire this guy. And I might pay more for that because I know that this player is going to be solid, versus a player with no rep, I might pay less for them because they don't have a positive reputation. But the engine that makes that possible is having a high reward that encourages group play together. Let's say you owned a Caterpillar and you wanted to make a 200,000 UEC run from Olisar to Yela and back again. Now 200,000 might seem like a lot, but let's think about it. You have to hire maybe a ship's engineer to run your shields really well and run your engines. You might want a couple of people on your turrets to help protect your ship, and you may want to bring a couple of, let's say, Super Hornets along to escort you, and you'll have to pay for them. As players, they're obviously going to hopefully be more competent than NPCs. You want to kind of encourage that kind of cooperative gameplay, and you want to be able to have people who are at Olisar who are ready to go, so you're going to want to have people looking at that system and saying, hey, this is worth it, so I'm just going to chill on Olisar and wait for a job opportunity, versus going out and, you know, picking up scraps, as it were, with the current type of bounty missions. If you look at things like agent smithing and people saying, oh, well, I want to have this so that I can bring my friend over immediately, either as an NPC or as themselves, which apparently is not going to happen. But if you look at it from the perspective of, if it's a rewarding enough of a career that I can actually just chill on Olisar and wait for job opportunities to open up from other players, then people are going to do that if that becomes rewarding enough. And the key to that is kind of keeping a fairly decent margin for rewards in terms of trading or bounty missions. Something that makes people go, hey, you know what? I'm making so much money that I can afford to do these things. You can even ramp up the difficulty of getting to Yela. You can put a lot more NPC pirates out there in the belts that players have to deal with, so it encourages them to get some escorts to come along with them, but at the same time they're earning so much money doing it that they can afford to pay those escorts and pay them well enough that they're willing to hang around Olisar and wait for opportunities. I mean, if you think about it from the perspective of, let's say, someone who just owns an Aurora MR package, you know, basic Aurora MR package. They log into the game, they show up in Olisar, and they're like, okay, here are the things I can do. I can start to slowly chip away at getting a new shield, getting a new this, getting a new that. And it's going to take me a while. Or I can crew up on this Caterpillar and get 20 grand a run. What are you going to do? I mean, you're going to crew up on that Caterpillar. And maybe as the game becomes more complex, and you have to start worrying with these bigger ships about wear and tear, fuel, all the expenses that come along with running those ships and the logistical needs of those ships, you might, as a player, say, you know what, I'm just going to stay in a fighter because that's more what I want to do, and I don't want to have to worry about always maintaining all of the systems on a very big and complex ship. So as soon as I get up to that level of that fighter that I want, then I'm just going to run escort missions. Or maybe there are players out there who don't want to buy joysticks and go through all that. They just want to run ship security and play the FPS portion of things, and they can get a fulfilling experience and still feel like they're going somewhere money-wise in the game, rather than what it is now, which is kind of geared to single player and slowly chipping away at your goals over a protracted period of time. If you scale the prices of the larger ships within the Star Citizen universe in a correct way, and if you kind of scale the time expense in operating those ships, it doesn't really, maybe it doesn't really encourage a lot of players to get into them. And it encourages players to say, hey, you know what, right here where I'm at right now, this is a fun experience for me. I like running ship security. I like the FPS aspects of the game. I like manning turrets. I like being chief engineer. I like doing these things. And now that there's a reward system that encourages that type of gameplay, it encourages players to kind of go out and explore those things and have a fun time just playing with their friends. You don't want people to get the idea that there's an end game that they have to kind of level up to or earn their way to. The end game is basically, can be day one. When you step into Star Citizen, there you are, your end game. You can just choose to earn your way up to a pretty good fighter and then decide to run escort, or you could just be ship security or someone firing a turret. And the reward the end game for you is just playing with other people and just enjoying the experience. And when you have an economy that encourages that, they're no longer restricted to, oh, well, I got to wait till all my friends are online to enjoy the game. Otherwise, the game isn't really going to be all that fun for me. And the same thing for someone operating a much larger ship. If this is the type of economy that you encourage in the game, then they'll have a lot of players to pick from. If you think about it from even a pirate protection point of view, let's say you got your NPC haulers running around through space doing whatever with their NPC escorts, but then you have players out there also running those same hauling missions, or just those random cargo runs from this station to that station. If a pirate goes out there and he sees that, oh shit, this hauler pilot, he can afford to actually run with a couple of Super Hornets and escort, all his turrets are manned, he's got someone manning shields, engines, tractor beams, all those stations, that's going to be a tough customer to deal with. Whereas that NPC over there, he's going to be a lot more manageable. I have to think about where I'm spending my money and spending my time. If you think about it from the point of view of a pirate crew member who signs on to that pirate ship, he's going to be looking at that captain. He's not only going to be thinking about how is this captain spending their time, but how are they spending my time? And are they doing it efficiently? Let's say a pirate captain gets together some massive gang squad and only goes for these overpowered engagements that he's almost guaranteed to win. Well, if there's this huge gang squad going into this battle, then each player's reward is going to be that much lower. Whereas the pirate who goes out there and who's a lot smarter about how he does things and doesn't go in with like 15 fighters to take down one small transport, he's going to earn me a lot more money per hour spent playing the game. So I'm going to hang out with him rather than the guy who's always trying to run these OP gang squads around space. It also becomes something of, let's say, a PvP management tool to a degree. So I think that the reward system in the game is something that's definitely worth a lot more discussion. And as we start seeing all these service beacons and quantum linking coming together and being brought into the game and being made functional, I think that this is a discussion that's really worth having in terms of the reward structure in the game and what type of gameplay it encourages. Because if it only encourages players to just kind of play by themselves and just slowly chip away at their goals like we're playing vanilla WoW or something like that, that sounds kind of boring. Whereas if it encourages players to team up and do co-op stuff, and it allows players to drop in and drop out very fluidly and still earn rewards, I think that that's a better system to explore rather than slowly chipping away at our goals, which we're doing right now. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on the topic. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.